What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be discussing the 5 biggest changes coming to Destiny 2 with the Lightfall expansion that are frankly going to make it feel like a Destiny 3. This is actually something I've been seeing quite a lot of within the community. People saying, Bungie, at this point, just drop the 2. Because if you could get in a time machine and play vanilla Destiny 2 and then come back and play the game right now, or especially when Lightfall releases, you would easily say, wow, this is a completely different game. So with that in mind, let's get started with thing number 5, and that's going to be the introduction of Strand. Now keep in mind, this is in no particular order because you could argue that Strand should be number 1. We learned with Beyond Light that the introduction of new subclasses is a massive deal. In fact, with Beyond Light, they were such a big deal because they were so massively powerful, they completely warped the meta, especially in PvP, for months after release. But Bungie did kind of learn their lesson this time around, it seems, because there are actually differences within Strand mechanics between PvP and PvE. A great example is the suspend mechanic. In PvE, the enemies will float up tangled in the air, unable to do anything. But in PvP, if you're suspended, you will still be able to shoot back, you'll just move and aim around slower. But guys, really the biggest difference is that Strand is arriving to the game as a much more complete package than Stasis. Stasis only had one Stasis weapon in Beyond Light, but with Lightfall, there's multiple Strand weapons, both exotics and legendaries. And that means when putting together a Strand build, you're gonna have a lot more tools at your disposal. And there's also gonna be enemies with Strand shields to actually shoot at. Strand will have specific mods that you can incorporate into your build and all of that stuff, so it's gonna arrive exactly how you need it to arrive in terms of creating new builds to compete with the current meta, and that is such a fantastic addition. And again, we know these new elements really spice up the game. However, moving on from there to thing number 4, that's gonna be the fact that Bungie is completely overhauling the build crafting system. This, again, you could argue is the number 1 most important thing because this will have such a massive impact on how you play the game. So, most of the current armor mods in the game right now are being overhauled. Charge with Light is going away. Elemental Wells are going away. Warmind cells are going away. And now there's going to be Armor Charge. So, if you pick up an Orb of Power, you have 1 stack of Armor Charge. You can have mods that increase the amount of stacks you can have, mods that benefit from how many stacks you have. There's mods that, hey, if you Armor Charge, you get this bonus, but you're gonna degrade your Armor Charge over time, so you have to keep picking up Orbs of Power. There's going to be mods that will likely make you generate additional Orbs of Power or generate them more often, so it's a much more simplified system. You're armor charged or you're not, and all the mods are built around this system. But you also have a massive streamlining of mods themselves. For example, in the game right now, you have Sniper Rifle Unflinching as a mod, and Hand Cannon Unflinching, and Shotgun, and Sidearm, etc. But in Lightfall, you will simply have Kinetic Unflinching as a mod, or Void Unflinching as a mod. So instead of being broken up into every single different weapon type, they're now broken up into the different elemental types, which is going to make designing your builds way easier. On top of that, the Buildcrafting Overhaul has introduced several quality of life improvements. For example, you can now save your loadouts and switch between saved loadouts with a click of a button, even mid-activity. So you're playing an entire strike, then you get to the boss, you want to put on your boss-killing loadout, you literally open your inventory, click on it, it'll put on everything you need, and you're good to go. That's pretty awesome. In addition to that, there's now a special mod page for both your armor and your weapons. So one single location, one single screen is gonna let you go through and change all the different mods for all of your armor pieces instead of having to go to each armor piece individually in the main inventory screen and change mods. This also means that you can take a screenshot of your mod page and simply share it with a friend, and they're going to know exactly what your build consists of instead of 10 different screenshots of all your different, armor. That is a huge change as well. And the last thing I'm going to talk about relating to these build crafting changes is changes to your seasonal artifact. Instead of unlocking actual armor mods that you then have to equip and that cost energy, you're now going to be able to select 12 different mods at a time from your seasonal artifact, and obviously you can change which 12 are selected, and they will now be passive bonuses. So if you unlock Scout Rifle anti-barrier rounds to deal with those barrier champions, you don't have to equip that mod to an armor piece. You just naturally get it all the time with every single scout rifle you now equip in your loadout. And again, that's going to streamline things significantly, and it's going to let you use your energy on other mods instead of spending, with an example from the current season, 7 of your 10 energy on unstoppable grenade launchers, right? So again, this is going to open up so many build possibilities. However, it's finally time to move on from there to thing number 3, and that's going to be Guardian ranks. This is another colossal change coming in Lightfall. There's going to be no more seasonal ranks. So you're running around at season rank 200, that's going away. In fact, the number that's going to appear by your username is now going to be your Guardian rank. So 1 to 6 is going to be for everyone. And if you're a veteran player, you're likely going to start Lightfall already at rank 6. And then ranks 7 to 11 are temporary. They're going to reset every single season, just like your seasonal rank. And importantly, advancing between Guardian ranks is going to require completing actual challenges, completing certain activities. Maybe to get from rank 7 to 8, you have to complete the new seasonal activity on master difficulty, etc. Complete new dungeons, new raids to get up to ranks 10 and 11. So right now, if you see someone with a really high seasonal rank, it just means they got a lot of experience. Heck, they might have AFK farmed for 3 days and they're rank 200, so it really doesn't mean much. However, with Guardian ranks, you need to do specific challenges in order to advance your rank. So if you see someone rank 10, 11, you know they've done, for example, maybe the new dungeon, they've done the relevant seasonal activities within the game. They're not just grinding experience. And going back to ranks 1 to 6, this is going to be a huge improvement for brand new players. Right now, if you start Destiny 2 from scratch, it just throws you into the world, and people have complained for years that they simply don't know what to do or where to go. But with Guardian ranks, it's going to give you specific objectives. Hey, do this, do some strikes to get to rank 2. Okay, now play some Crucible and some Gambit to get to rank 3. And you now have a much more direct path for brand new players to know what to do and to start to learn the game. Again, a colossal improvement over what we have now. But guys, moving on from there, we have thing number 2, and that's going to be difficulty changes. Bungie outlined how they're actually overhauling how the game feels at a base level when you're playing a lot of the activities within Lightfall. So, for example, when you're on Neomuna, the new location on Neptune, you're going to have enemies that have the red swords above them. You're going to be under level pretty much always, so that it will actually feel like a fight, like a struggle. You can't necessarily sparrow past every single group of enemies. In addition, the Vanguard playlist is going to be overhauled, and strikes have been around since, Destiny 1 released, and now they're going to feel different. You're going to be at a -5 light at a base level, I believe, and that is combined with the return of strike scoring. So you're going to get more Vanguard reputation, you're going to earn more loot if you are slaying out on enemies instead of sparrowing through everything as fast as possible. A huge change in simply how you play the game. And now, when you get those longer strikes with more enemies like Proving Grounds, you might actually be happy because you're thinking, wow, this is going to be a lot of Vanguard rep when I do this. In addition, the game's base difficulties have been streamlined. You now know that Hero always means -5 power levels. Legend is -15, Master -20, and Grandmaster Nightfalls are -25. This is an important change because it's the first step in getting away from the power level grind. Right? Now there's not so much of an emphasis on absolutely grinding your power level as high as possible, getting your seasonal artifact as high as possible to get to parity with the Master Raid. you're just going to be minus 20 for more of a challenge, and you know that, and again, it alleviates the power level grind. You don't need to become parity with that level. You can be minus 20 levels, and again, it's going to feel the same as someone who's well above that power level limit because they're going to be put at minus 20. Everyone's going to be on the same level, unless you are more than 20 levels behind. However, I think it's important for me to say that when these changes were announced, the community reaction was divided. Some people want the increase in challenge, they want the game to feel more engaging in these base activities, but a lot of other people pretty fairly pointed out that with an increase to the base difficulty, there better also be an increase to the loot you're getting. Otherwise, it's just going to feel significantly more tedious to play strikes with Lightfall than before it. So whereas your opinion might differ on if increasing the base difficulty is a good or bad thing, undoubtedly it's going to significantly change how Destiny feels to play when Lightfall releases. But guys, moving on from there, thing number one is going to be social features. So, with Lightfall, we're getting the introduction of the commendation system. After an activity, as you can see after this Vow of the Disciple raid run, you can actually give commendations to certain players. If one guy carried the team or one guy was super nice or knowledgeable, you can actually, tell them that they were, and this rating is going to go with you. So you can go, I believe, and look up, and it might be part of the Guardian rank system, but you can look up people and see what kind of commendations they're getting. And a feature like this has a huge ripple effect on the game. You're playing strikes with someone, you rate them helpful, they rate you helpful, and suddenly you decide to keep playing together, and then suddenly you decide to send each other some friend requests, and boom, you have a new person to play with, and that interaction would have never happened without this commendation system. And while it may not seem like a big deal right now, it is laying the groundwork for future social features to come within this year, with the biggest one by far being that Bungie confirmed that this year, 2023, we're going to get an in-game Fireteam matchmaking feature. So no longer will you have to go to a third-party website or a Discord and navigate through a bunch of posts and toxicity to find a team to do an activity like a raid. You're now just going to be able to do that in game. And again, that's going to work with this commendation feature. You can, get people on your team who have a lot of commendations that they were knowledgeable, that they were helpful, all of that stuff. And that is just going to change the landscape of Destiny 2 forever. I know this is kind of cheating because the Fireteam stuff is going to come later in the year, but my goodness, with the introduction of these social features, so many people are going to essentially unlock Destiny's best content, which is its dungeons and raids. So guys, that's it from my opinion on the 5 biggest changes coming with Lightfall that are really going to make it feel like a completely different experience. What do you guys think? Did I miss something? Let me know in the comment section down below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.